we'll just jump into questions. Jeff, you want to start us off?
Sure, Davis. Yeah, obviously we'll start with the last time out.
Yep.
One number that jumped out to me defensively was 1 tackle for loss
Yep.
for you guys.
Yep.
Was that just a product of a great offensive line you were facing, or were you looking for a little more aggression, or?
A little bit of all the above. We just, didn't play our best. Players and coaches, we took that loss as a team. Didn't execute technique, fundamentals, just didn't do it all we wanted to do. We got to own that as players and coaches that we talked about. Just wasn't our best night. That was something we carried over into the bye week of how can we get back to, playing our technique, playing our fundamentals, doing our job at a high level. That's what it comes back to. And we didn't do it. But, you always like to learn lessons and wins. Well, didn't get that opportunity last week. So we had to take a big look inward and say, how can we get better this week? And I thought our guys responded and came to work, on a physical bye week. So that was good to see.
Davis, the way the first 2 games went.
Yeah.
And then kind of a 180.
Oh, yeah.
Toledo.
Yep.
Is it a part of where you're just looking to where you plug the dike?
Yeah.
Did your kids was there any sense of, I don't know about panic's the right word, but
no,
concern?
that was the thing that you go back and watch the tape. Guys continue to fight. Coach Shelton brought it up. Could have easily just shut it down. First play, second half, 75-yard touchdown. That's demoralizing, right? But there was no panic on the sideline. There was never, finger pointing. Guys stayed together, stayed connected. We can coach up the details and put guys in better spots and things like that. But our guys continued to fight to the end of the whistle, to the final snap, and that was encouraging. You can build off that. Coaches, we got to put guys in better positions. Guys got to execute their technique and fundamentals better. And we just didn't do that night. But like we said, the energy and the want to was there. We just got to get back to playing better ball.
Coach, how do you feel the progress and the growth from that game through the bye week to now? How are you feeling about how the guys are focused and locked in?
Yeah, I think our guys, said, hey, let's how can we self-diagnose? How can we get better? And then we went to work. Like I said, we had physical practices on Tuesday and Wednesday, and and that's going to help us farther down the road. Hopefully that's immediate feedback, on the first game. But I thought guys went to work and tried to get better, and each group kind of had an improvement plan and say, hey, how can we get better this week? And I thought, across the board, everybody got better. So,
Coach, each week you guys are digesting new information every single week. How difficult was it for you to have 2 weeks now to hone in on just one team? Do you think that was paid a byproduct on Saturday?
We'll see. Ask me next week. But, I thought as much as looking ahead and getting more time on Nevada was also, like I said, how can you look inward? What are we doing good? What do we need to improve on? What new wrinkles can we do? Those things. Like Coach Bowie said, when you have some time, you got to look inward and say, what are we doing? What are we showing to an offense? What tells do we have? What can we change up? So as much as it is looking ahead, it also, like I said, was looking inward, saying how can we get better at what we do? That's the whole point of practice, and I thought we did that this bye week.
I mentioned with Coach Helton that former Hilltoppers on Nevada's roster.
Yeah.
You have a former Wolfpack player on your roster.
Oh, yeah.
Valley.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of tell me, obviously he's been a contributor, a solid contributor.
Yeah.
What he's meant to your defensive line, and is he an extra resource for this game?
I don't know if I'd say all that because, like you said, the landscape of football is so many guys changing in and out. But Machiavelli shows up each and every day and works his butt off. The guys love him in the room. He's been a great. I know the production maybe doesn't stand out as much, from a top to bottom standpoint, but he's a pivotal role, and I love how hard he practices each and every day and shows up and is a big leader for that D-line room.
While you've had all this time to look ahead at Nevada, obviously their game on Saturday, you have fresh film to look at. Anything that stands out right off the bat?
Better stop the run. Based off our last game, and everybody's going to keep saying it till we do it. Got to stop the run. And these guys, have wanted to run the ball. Another deadly quarterback. I feel like every quarterback in college football now can run the ball to some aspect. And we got another huge challenge. But the game kind of got away from there at the end. But it's another dangerous rushing attack that we have our hands full. So I have to show up and be able to do that on Saturday.
Coach, and that 3-3 stack is very important for your players to just do their job and
Yeah.
really focus on their technique. Obviously you already touched on it, saying that you guys were focusing last week on yourselves.
Yeah.
How important was that, just like honing into these guys, like, hey, this is something that has to be addressed and
Yeah.
it needs to be fixed?
like I said, that's players and coaches, right? Could put some guys in better positions on a couple of key plays, so we got to look, say, hey, how can we do it better? But it comes back to, you watch the tape, it was an alignment here and an assignment here, or, just not going 1-for-1, not content staying blocked. You go back and you watch the tape, and there's a ton of missed opportunities for that. Well, when it gets a good team, you're going to pay for that, and that's what happened. So, learning from it, straying the importance of the technique, of the fundamentals, of the alignment, assignment, key technique, all of those things, so that way that result doesn't happen again. That was the huge point, and hopefully guys continue to learn from that, and make sure it doesn't happen again.
And this is a team you guys are facing that's averaged 14 points a game.
Yeah.
Through 3. What have other defenses been successful at to slow it down?
Well, I think they've had some untimely turnovers, right? They've struggled with that, but I mean, they still are explosive. I know the points hadn't been what they want it to be, so I don't look at that per se as much. But I mean, they still find a way to run the football, so that's what I'm worried about is stopping that first and foremost.
Now, Chubb is pretty much the guy that does that.
Yeah.
Quarterback. Is he a speed guy or is he a big guy?
I think he's a balanced passer, but he's deadly with his legs as well. He can extend plays, receivers, now it's scramble drill, so that's a whole nother dynamic you got to work with. Just containing him as the front rush, not letting this guy get out, because, I mean, he's run all over, it doesn't matter who he's playing, Penn State, MTSU, I mean, the guy's very elusive, so he creates problems for defenses for sure.
We know with how much that these guys have been focused on stopping the run all season or all summer that Toledo really it hurt them. What's the message to move on, put that in the past, and then
do your job? Just show up each and every day. Do your job. Just nothing crazy. Don't need to hit a panic button. Come back to what your coach should do. Do what your coach should do and do it well. Not just do your job, but do it well. And then we'll improve. That's no reason to panic. Just do what you're supposed to do.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate y'all.
Coach.